All right, what up, what up, what up? How's it going, everyone?
Yo,
How's
yo,
it going?
yo.
We're
What's
back,
up?
boys.
What's up?
So this is insane. There's been some reports coming out the past 2 weeks from insiders everywhere of three things. MJ is out, Spider-Man 4 will have Black Cat, and basically Peter Parker is going to be dead. Spider-Man will be the main focus. They're not going to focus on a Peter Parker storyline. It's going to be mainly Spider-Man, and basically that's where they're going with this. What are your thoughts on all of that? Because that is absolutely insane.
Now, is this coming with Raimi doing from my understanding?
I believe so. I haven't heard anything about who the director is going to be, but I've heard this
Because
from both Cosmic Wonder. I believe New Rockstars has posted about this. Like
okay,
there's a lot of different people out there who are kind of saying that Black Cat is going to be cast. Kevin Feige has come out and said, or not come out and said, but basically insiders have said that Kevin Feige is looking for Sydney Sweeney to be his Black Cat.
and she got the perfect assets for it as well, so shout out. But seriously, I would say like this. So long as we get Sam Raimi to produce this, the director, let me just elaborate real quick. Because this right here, honestly, is a dream scenario I never thought I'd see come to fruition. And what I mean by that is this. There used to be this old game back in the day, Spider-Man Webs of the Shadows. So you guys go check that out. I'm pretty sure it's up there on one of these Steam engines. And what I liked about that game is, you get to decide your choices shape Spider-Man's future and the city's future. And, you could be a good guy, which I think he goes for MJ, falls in love, and they go off to the sunset and the city's saved. Or you can fall for Black Cat and the city goes to shit. He becomes like a symbiote. It's really dope. But I'm saying like in that kind of scenario, I stood in the end the game good. It's been like 20 something years. I'm probably gonna go play it eventually, but the game's that good. Webs of Shadows. I could see a movie like that, but it's going to take that Spider-Man down a dark path. Now, I say Raimi because he's got the experience for this kind of genre. Would be like he tried to do a musical with Spider-Man 3. What the hell were you doing? Where you should have made it as horrifying as you could, and he had the ability to make it
You've got
horrifying and
Venom,
dark.
you've got Spider-Man, you've got two of the possibly darkest characters you could possibly come out with
Right.
from the
Yeah.
Spider-Verse, and you went to a musical version of an emo Peter Parker.
I mean,
Which again, I feel like that's why it's the right direction to take this a Spider-Man route instead of a Peter Parker route with the story.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And if you make it a Spider-Man route, you could do it a little more darker too, because I think what Feige's doing is, I think he's I'm gonna say it's two things. He's listening, meaning that I don't think he ever stopped listening.
Yeah.
But we got to play with the DIE, So let's play DIE, and this is what happens: you kill your stuff to a point where you're like, well, gotta do something. This Deadpool's gonna set off, I feel, a chain event for the MCU.
In what way?
It's gonna take this MCU into like, I feel it's up in the ante when it comes to like more adult oriented Marvel movies that people want to see. And it's apparent because you gotta look at the box office. I mean, no one wanted the MCU, period. Not even the women. If women complain about this, I always go to the same thing, like the WNBA. Hey, you want to make what LeBron James makes? You got to bring in LeBron tickets, Like, you can't expect to make LeBron James money with Pookie tickets. Like, you got to produce. So I feel like these movies, in the direction that they can go, depending on what's going to go on with Deadpool. And I saw Deadpool, and it's everything I ever wanted in a damn freaking R-rated Kevin Feige movie. That these movies should have been like from the get-go. Let's stop
You've
playing.
seen Deadpool and Wolverine already?
I've seen the previews, and I saw preview 2. Now, if you guys aren't aware, there is a second preview. It's really long too. It's about 2 minutes and 43 seconds. I may do a review over the entire preview itself. It's dope. It's so much profanity. Like literally, it's littered with profanity. Just the way I like my Marvel.
I love that they didn't pull any punches with the not the teaser trailer, but the trailer that just came out recently. Like everything was put out in the open. They just went for everything that they possibly could, and they absolutely had fun doing it. Like this shows that this is peak Marvel again, because they're doing it for fan service, but they're not doing it for the sake of fan service. They're doing it because they know fans will enjoy it. They're doing it because they know that it will be a fun ride the entire time.
They're also doing it because they know that Disney's corporate is about to be taken over by Ike Perlmutter. Believe me, this freaking people want to make sure they consolidate their power, and they need a hit. Let Kevin Feige flow the way he's meant to flow. Because up to a couple of years ago, we loved Kevin. We don't know what happened. We kind of know what happened now. So we're not really mad at you, Kevin, because we can see that this stuff is even bigger than you. But right now, I think what happened was, from my inside sources, they tell me that this was pretty much Kevin telling everybody, look, you want to make money, let us have this. That's it. It's going to be done this way. Just let me be. Don't bother me. Don't direct. I'm going to make this the way I always wanted to make it. Period. So, what choice do you have? Like, you got to make money somehow. So this is not hard to do, people. If the fans are going crazy for this, you're putting out trailers. You see, everything's metric size. Don't think it's never not.
Yeah.
Everything. When they put out a trailer, believe me, those up thumb ratios to down thumb ratios, believe me when I tell you, the thing drives them insane. They don't sleep at night. So when you start putting out a trailer and you see that the up ratios out, like, I looked at the trailer, had millions of views, had tens of thousands, maybe a million thumbs up, and I didn't see really any thumbs down. And I was shocked with that. I was like, because you're not going to see the thumbs down unless you have the old Chrome driver. I have everything set up so I can go to my Chrome driver and look at the actual numbers. Also, we have the channel so we can actually look at this. There's other ways you can do it. But, yeah, surprisingly, not really surprisingly, because the first trailer was good, too, and the second one's even better. This is the way that it needs to be, because you got too much competition now. Listen, Marvel, you guys know we're coming. Guys like me are coming, I have a lot of people in the game that are doing the same, and they're making amazing stories. We're coming. We're coming for the crown. So, you got to step your game up. This is your last chance. Because with everything that happened with Disney's stockholders meeting is the reason why you're going to see this driven, because it's more or less like, we gave you your DIE and it died like we thought. So it's time for us to make money. This is what the fans want. Not what Billy and Bobby wants. No. We're talking about the hardcore fans. I don't tell people to go take your kid to see any R-rated movie. If I saw kids in there and I see them, I'm just gonna be like this. Hell yeah! Like, yeah, good for you. Good dad. Good mom. So you do what you want.
I'm looking up right now, like, when Disney bought Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Feige entered probably about 2006, 2007, basically saying, I want to do a 10-year slate of a Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Disney picked that up in 2009 and ran with Marvel Studios and basically took Marvel Studios into the further into the 21st century.
Yeah.
And it seems as though Disney knew that they were never going to put the boot on Kevin Feige until that 10-year span was up, because he had the whole thing planned out. You're not going to destroy the plan in year one and say it's not going to work. You're going to let the plan play out, and then you're going to put your own agenda forth. And you can see that because as soon as Endgame ends and as soon as COVID hits, there's this sudden, like, just slow restraint of Kevin Feige's creative abilities at Marvel. And there's just a lack of creation happening and creativity happening because everything after that was just, it wasn't adult, like you're saying. Like, Shang-Chi was very good, absolutely amazing, but it wore kid gloves in a way. Black Widow, absolutely, or not absolutely amazing, but it was a good movie. But again, it wore kid gloves. You could tell that it was made by Disney for most of the movie.
Yeah.
WandaVision was one that you knew that Kevin Feige was allowed to run with because it did really well. Same with Moon Knight. Disney knew that they were not going to keep Moon Knight from not having that adult vibe, so they couldn't trap it. And all of these shows and movies that they can't trap or can't put kid gloves on, you could tell. But like She-Hulk, they completely ruined with this idea that let's put a woman in charge, let's put kid gloves on it, let's make sure that the men are just superior or inferior. Let's give Daredevil a walk of shame. Let's do all of that. And in all honesty, like, if I was Disney, I would have given She-Hulk the walk of shame. I think that would have been a lot more understandable, and like, women would have been able to, like, oh yeah, wow, that's how it is. Like, I mean, if you're gonna put a power move behind it, put one that people can actually agree with and see themselves in, whether they're green or not. Like, allow that to happen.
I mean, what you just described, right? If you think about it real good, and we talking about the last couple of years, we talking about that pandemic money, that COVID money, that DEI money. This is when this was going on during the pandemic. So this was implemented during the pandemic. You see, you have to understand something. Advertisers what drives everything in the world. It doesn't matter what field you're in. Advertisement is what drives the engine of everything, of all entertainment, from every form, from book form to movie form, right? So they're always thinking of what's going to drive the next campaign. So when you have a council, because I mean, what this money and this DEI is tied to, it's pretty much like, it's like if you don't play ball with these big boys, you're not going to get any funding. So this money was there, and they're like, look, just run these projects. The way if they suck or not, you're going to get paid. The way if you take a hit on the board, it's okay, because you're Disney. You're going to make it back. So just take this money, take that guaranteed money, and then, but I don't think anybody thought that they were going to take a public stand like they did. But by taking that public stand, that confirms what most people believe, whether you believe in this or not, is that, of course, Disney took the money, and many companies took the money. And this was the agenda, to put this there in place while the world was in a bubble and was told to stay away from each other. Perfect time to implement something like this, right? So think about it. You start seeing the shows, and what we're talking about, kid gloves, and we're talking about is not hurting no one's feelings, not making women look weaker than men. Like, nonsense that don't make no sense. Like when I see that they try to diversify movies and content, and I'm like, every time I hear this, I'm like, Storm, when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I remember I had an old X-Men. I still have it, and it has Storm on the cover, and I was like, yo, she's beautiful. I didn't think she was a black woman. She was a white. This was a beautiful cover, beautiful woman. I was like, wow, this girl's beautiful, and she's all lit up like with lightning. I mean, people, stop with this DEI crap. Go back to the 70s. We had everything in the 70s. Everything was hip and cool. Everybody did not put an agenda or anything on it. We just knew, you know. We didn't. It didn't have to be spoken. The first black person this, the first Hispanic person that, the first white.
Yep.
No one cared about any of that. You know why? Because
Exactly.
we were too busy enjoying what we had. And see,
Yep.
I remember a time when it was like this, and this was my enjoyment as a child, holding these precious Bronze Age and Silver Age comics, looking at them like nice, like, and appreciating them. Getting older, not
Yeah.
realizing what they meant. I get that, but I was just brought up in that kind of society of not thinking about like the DEI agenda. Is to me, it's just a way to have people divided.
I
The
didn't
best way to
watch
be, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I didn't watch Static Shock because it's the first black superhero in an animated TV show.
you
I
just
watched
watch it
Static
because it was
Shock
good.
because it was an amazing TV show to watch as a kid. Like
Yeah,
I could see myself as Static Shock because I was like, shit, those powers would be amazing to have. I would love
yeah,
to be Static Shock. Like
yeah,
I can totally understand what this kid's going through, having all these powers at the age of a teenager and not knowing how to and not knowing how to do them. Obviously, I can't understand
exactly.
like all of the racial stuff he was going through. And as a kid, I didn't really focus on that. Like that wasn't in the forefront of my mind. And I'm sure if I
Right.
went back and watched it now, I'd be like, wow, now I see what he's going through. Like I'd see it with adult eyes. But
Yeah.
back then it was just, this is absolutely amazing. I love the
Right.
fact that I got to see this really cool character growing up.
Yeah.
And honestly, that might be why I'm so tolerant of people. Because
Yeah. I
I
mean,
didn't see the color of his skin. I saw the fact that he was this badass character.
you see, what DEI gets wrong is this: it tries to make you feel like as if equity is important. Equity
No.
is not important. What's important is I don't care if it. Look, I will preach a little Martin Luther King. So if I get a little wrong, please don't tear me up. But I'm not going for the person's color of their skin. I'm going by the content of their character, period. And
Yep.
that's what I'm going by. Your experience. And I don't care what color you are, what you identify with, who you want to sleep with.
Yeah.
That's all fine and dandy. What I care about is this.
Do
If I
you?
give you this test, and you this test, who's going to do it the best? Go.
Yep.
That's all I care about. That's it. That's
Exactly.
it. There is your DEI right there. It's called DIE. You give it to
Yep.
people, you do it. I don't care about where you from, who you love, who you want to
Yep.
sleep with. Irrelevant. Here's your job. Do your job. Like when you see these guys protesting at Google, duh, get out. That's not a place to protest. Protest on your own time. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I got freedom. Yeah, you got freedom when you're off duty and you're off your job, not on
Yep.
job time. I love that Google did that. Shout out to Google, man. The stock went up really. That thing shot up. They got rid of them. That thing went up like 20 something dollars in a day. I was like, look at this. Good for you, Google. You know what I mean? Millions they save right there. Severance packages not guaranteed because you want to be dumb. This is what I'm
Yep.
trying to say to people, that I think people are starting to wake up from this DIE bubble. They're starting to come out of it and starting to see, wait a minute, people still want good shit. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
You know, like we were talking about that last week and what people want. Yes, people want dark content. I'm not saying that people want, like, I mean, like even what I'm doing when I'm symbiotic, like he's a hero, but he's kind of an anti-hero, really. But I think people want that kind of hero that's on the fringes of, you know, I hate what Star Wars is doing. I wouldn't have done it like that, but I would take pieces of that and use it for what I'm doing, because
Yeah.
it's not about good and evil. It's about power and who gets to wield it. I love that, but that's not Star Wars. You
Yeah.
understand? That would be good for anything else. Even Rebel Moon, which, wait, I'm not even going to say, oh God. I'm going to be doing a whole review of Rebel Moon so you guys don't have to waste your time watching it. I mean, honestly, unless you really hate yourself, I'm not even
I
lying. Like, you know, like, I'm trying to give Zack
I can't
Snyder a
even
chance.
bring
No, I
myself to
really
watch
am.
it in all honesty.
No, don't. I listen, and I heard there's an extended version coming out. I
Of
think that's
course
the
there is, because it's
12-hour
Zack
go to
Snyder.
sleep version. So I'm gonna try to watch that. But Jesus Christ. Look, man, look, Zach. Honestly, I love you, man. I really do. I'm just gonna say it like this, honestly. Like, it's time, man. Let the slow-mo go. Just let it go. It was okay with 300 when we had a good time, yo, but you gotta let the slow-mo go. Let it go.
Yep.
Please, for everyone's sake, yo. I can't take it anymore.
Every time
I'm
I see
telling you,
slow
it
mo
was
in a
just
Zack
like
Snyder film,
there was just
do you remember? I think what was
oh,
it was
oh man.
the movie, the Parts of the Caribbean movie with the Kraken, and there's the slow mo scene of
Yes, yes.
Jack Sparrow grabbing the musket, aiming it at the uh, barrels of gunpowder, and you see this bullet slow mo into the the barrels of gunpowder,
Yeah.
and the whole thing explodes. And I'm like, did we really need slow mo for that? What? Not to mention, I don't believe that a little
Yeah.
tiny lead ball
Oh my god.
would make gunpowder explode, because there wouldn't be a spark to make it explode. But that's besides the point. Like, put that aside. Let's say he did hit that one little piece of metal on the outside of one of the barrels of gunpowder. Why do you need slow mo for that? Just let it be a scene. You don't need to turn a 2-second scene into a 30-minute piece of film. And like, that's my
It's
biggest
like
problem with a lot of filmmakers these days, is they play it out for too long. And it doesn't work anymore because it's like they think we're stupid.
it's
Like, I
it's
don't
like
get it.
I just feel like okay. I feel as a creative that there's one thing that I know that can happen, and I'm not letting it happen to me. It's that you get stuck with a style. Like even right now, as I'm creating my comic, I'm actually trying to create a style, but I already know for the next projects and the projects after that I'm gonna variate styles. I'm
Yep.
always gonna keep up on
You have
trends.
to.
And I always yes, it's your responsibility to keep
Yep.
up with the trends, what the people want. Feedback's important. Criticism's everything. Don't worry about
Yep.
hurting my feelings. If I put out book 2 and it sucks, tell me if it sucks. If it's fantastic, give me thumbs up. I want that.
Exactly.
I need that. I need that so I can become better. You understand? Like
Because you're
sometimes to
never going to
become a
become
good
better if
fighter,
you don't do criticisms.
sometimes to become a good fighter, you gotta get knocked down a couple of times. It's
Yep.
how you get back up and you handle getting knocked down. It's
Yep.
what counts in life. And if you could take a beating and get on you and get down to your knees and get up and come back swinging, that's how you know the world can't stop you. But also, it's very
Exactly.
important to keep in in the know. Like I'm an older gentleman, but I know I'm up on everything modern and current. And I don't do that because I feel like I need to. I do it because I enjoy it. You know, like I'm not gonna be one of these older people that are gonna be stuck in a certain era. I mean, you know, we got
Exactly.
these people in our lives, our grandparents and our great grandparents, you know, older people that we know, they're just stuck in a certain like decade. Like you can pretty much tell when they were born. You can look at the decade and go, "Oh, you're stuck in the '50s, so you were
Yeah.
born in such and such year." And like, and this is what happens with some creators too, is that they Zack Snyder has his own yes boys. He has he has his own yes boys, Zack Snyder, right? And he says it. You know, I got my family and friends, like close people to me. And
Yeah.
no, you don't just need them. You need to get on your board and read what your fans are saying about you. Because honestly, Rebel Moon was it was an embarrassment. I'm sorry to say. Oh
And,
my god. This was the
and
worst
it
Zack
could have
Snyder thing
been
I've ever seen.
absolutely amazing.
If he would have
Like,
took out about 30 minutes of the slow-mo, we would have had such a better movie. And just freaking like it's just like my girl doesn't know anything really about Zack Snyder. Like you know, she knows something about him. I said, "Oh,
yeah.
300." She goes, "Oh yeah, 300." You know,
Yep.
that's what I would have to tell her for her to know what we're watching. But now I'm not even telling her any controversies online and anything. And you know, she turns around and tells me with the most honest face. She goes, Jesus, this is such a Star Wars ripoff. And I started laughing so hard because I'm like, this is exactly what it was. It was Star Wars. I said, this was so bad that the Disney company turned it down. Disney. Now imagine that. Disney turned this down. That gotta tell you everything you need to know about this. This is Disney turning this down. And my girl had no idea about the controversy. So I started showing her some videos and she started laughing. She was like, I said, but you see, even a novice, a person that's not even up on everything that's being said can look at this and say the exact same thing that we all already said and know.
And so many Star Wars fans wanted Rebel Moon to be amazing. They wanted there to be something that could compete with Star Wars.
Sure.
And like the way I see it is, like, people talk about Zack Snyder's slow-mo the same way they talk about Michael Bay's explosions. There's too many, it's way too often, it's way too over-exaggerated. And you don't need all that. Like, you don't need to have this crazy, amazing slow-mo scene to make the movie. You don't need this giant explosion outside of the Great Pyramids to make the movie amazing. Like,
this is what you do. You make it slow-mo and then you throw in explosions and break up the slow-mo right there and destroy everything. This is how you fix it. Michael Bay's explosions and Zack Snyder's slow-mo. You just throw the explosions into the slow-mo and we keep it going. Yeah. That's exactly how I'm going to make right there. Because it's getting to a point like, come on, let's just get on with the show already. And we're like, all right, we get it. Things explode. But come on, Michael. Let's just have something a little left, you know? I don't want
you do go for the explosion section, but like there were times in the early Transformers movies where I was like, oh, that's going to blow up. Boom. Oh, that's going to blow up. Boom. I'm like, we don't need everything.
It's a new Fall Guy. The new Fall Guy is coming out. Is that going to be directed by Michael Bay? I'm wondering.
I'm not sure about that one.
We're gonna research this, but I've already seen a couple of trailers, and I gotta be honest, it does have a Michael Bay feel already, like explosions galore. It looks like it's gonna be good, but I want to check out who's the I wouldn't be surprised if it is Michael Bay. So if anybody knows, you want to put it down in the chat, it's all good. Here's Chris calculating. You know what? I'm going to look that up while you're talking.
Here's the other thing about Spider-Man 4 that I'm really interested in hearing more about, because Tom Holland came out I think it was like 4 or 5 days ago. He was talking about the fact that he's going to be in the room for the early stages of this movie getting made. So the writing, he said, this is the first time in this process that I've been part of the creative team so early. It's just a process that I'm watching and learning. It's just a really fun stage for me. Like I said, everyone wants it to happen, but we want to make sure we're not overdoing the same things. Do you want him to be in that room helping, not really helping out the writers, it sounds like, but like seeing the writing take place? Do you think that helps actors kind of be more focused in the work they're doing when they see it from start to finish?
Well, this is an excellent question.
Thanks, Legion.
Because in my career, if you want to call it that, I've actually talked to many actors and writers and directors and producers, and I've sat in cast calls. Like, it's funny, like the business cast calls me and I'm walking in the background and somebody's doing an audition and they just tell me to stop. So I'm like, okay, I'm in an audition now. Cool. Like, I've seen things like this. And I'll be honest, it depends on the person. And what I mean by that is many people aren't great communicators. I think it's something to do with just being shy. I never had that issue, like, ever growing up. So when it was becoming an issue, like when we had like a speech class, like an introduction to college, I didn't realize this was a big deal. I just got up, said what I had to say, boom. I did real good in the class. Then I realized as I started to look at my peers, I'm like, oh wait, a lot of these people are just like, they're shy or they're nerd. And I'm like, and I would talk to them individually. I said, are you all right? Oh, I don't know how you do it. I said, do what? Just sit up there and talk. I'm like, oh, I just love talking. I'm a big mouth. I said, I just enjoy it. Yeah. Oh, I get very nervous. And I'm like, really? I'm like, and that's the first time I really started thinking like, oh, wait, yeah, maybe every day everybody doesn't move like I move, you know, like even at Comic-Con, I don't know if you remember or not, but all the stars that we were meeting, shout out to you guys, was saying all the same thing. Like the way I move, my energy has just always been this way, you know, like I've
Yeah.
always been like a hyperactive person. I've always used that to my advantage. And I've never been shy. But I just feel like it's like for Hollywood, and especially with like I've been in a couple of meetings where I could see what was trying to be said, and I can kind of break it down and give it to them the way, because I have a lot of public speaking. Besides my current job, my past jobs, I've have a lot of experience just doing this.
Yeah.
So I just feel like overall it depends. Like so long as the director, the writer, and the actors don't clash, meaning we can all sit together. I mean, I was on projects where I actually was talking to a writer, a director, and an actor. Two actors, actually. Two actors, writer, director. All on the same project. All giving me little things and ideas about one another. To the point that I was actually kind of like carrying the message between all until one day I just said, look, why don't we just all meet up? We go sit down and have a little brunch, dinner later. I got you guys. Let's go.
Yeah.
Made the reservation, went to the East Village, sat down with everyone. And then everybody was able to communicate better. And the project really, from that point, was really flowing good. Everybody had a good time. And that's what it comes down to. Like, there are people like me out there. We don't do it intentionally. It's more like, you know, if I see something, I just like to be that kind of person. I help out. And, you know, and if I make good new friends out of it, cool, no problem. I mean, you know, I see people down the line. I see people around in the business all the time. And right now, I'm at the point in the business where I'm just like still like getting back into the swing of things because it's just like everything reopened like a couple months ago. So we're still like, now is the time that everything's like really picking up. But
Yeah.
you'll see this, like I'll start seeing this again. And like I said, so yeah, I mean, so long as the communication can be taken in a way where I'm the kind of person that can speak to you straight up like this, but I can say something that may offend someone. Maybe they're not used to someone with my I guess, you know, energy, my push to just get stuff done. Like I don't force it on people. I just
Yeah.
this is just the way I flow and operate. I get very excited about especially when we're at cons or anything like that. To me, it's just like it's the next gear. Like, you know, I just like that's it. I gotta stay in this gear and I just gotta stay all the way until I'm done.
So when you're saying like as long as Tom Holland's in that room and he's making sure that his communication is clear and that their communication of what his expectations are in that room are clear.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Like I said, it depends on the actor, the writer, the producer. If they all can just sit there and talk, that's fine. Sometimes you just have the situation. It could be anything. Like it could just be a miscommunication or a misunderstanding. And I've literally had people turn to me and go, "What? I don't get." And I'm like, "Oh no, this is what he meant. I believe, right, sir? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Things like that sometimes could just be said. And I mean, and I've seen it like with some people. Like I've seen whispers going by as I've heard writers and directors, you know, and they'll see an actor they don't like and they'll say something. And I always say this to people, especially in this business, when it comes to politics, don't even bother. I don't vote, period, so I don't talk about politics. That's it. That's what I tell people. I don't vote. That's it. Oh, you should. Nah, I served in the military. I'm good. I did all my civil service. Like, believe me, I did more than most people could ever do or would ever do. And that's not like a smack to anyone's face. I'm just saying, like, I felt I've done enough to earn my U.S. citizenship here. So I don't tell people how to live with their politics. I just say like this: when it comes to the workplace, your politics should stay completely away from each other. I mean, this was what pretty much happened with Gina Carano and Kathleen Kennedy. Like it came to a point where, you know, she said something about Trump, like immediately Kathleen Kennedy turns around to one of us next to go, "Oh, this one's going to be a problem." And you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've had people try to do that to me, and I'm like, nah, just not the place to worry
Yeah,
about
we're
it.
right there with you, Legion. Sydney Sweeney is definitely one of those
Oh,
actresses that is up and coming in the game, and I don't know how she stayed under the radar so long with how beautiful she is and also how amazing of an actress she is. But yeah, and like what we were just talking about is how Tom Holland can be in the writing room could be helpful slash harmful. And if Tom is a writer, sure. If not, he should stick to act. Like, yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah.
and
I mean,
I'm just saying, like, as an actor, is it beneficial for that actor? And that's kind of how we got down this rabbit hole. Is it beneficial for an actor to be in the writer's room and be like, no, that scene's not going to work the way I was going to play it? So,
yeah. And the answer to that is, like I said, it depends on what's going on. I mean, for me personally, right? Okay, when I write my comic and I script it to my artist, I give the artist the exact script. Now, if the artist adds to the lore that I like, then of course they're gonna get co-creation credit. That's one.
yeah.
And two, I will implement what I like. But at the end of the day, it's my call, and I choose how I want to do it. Um, so I just feel like so long as you could flow, but like I said, with my artists, they don't tell me, oh, you should do all this and that. They'll just make suggestions, and I like that, and that's fine. So long as you understand, like maybe you see something that the writer, director doesn't see, and you can be like, well, look at it from this perspective, from just the little details. I mean, if you're gonna put little details into it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, he's an actor. Stick to
Yeah.
the acting, kid. And you're doing a good job with the Spider-Man, so just stick to the acting, kid. Don't worry about the directing and all that.
Again, I don't disagree with this statement at all. I do think that as a young 20, I think he's 26 or 27 years old, as a young man, to definitely keep your options open, to be in that room, just to see the process, to see the way that it kind of plays out, isn't a problem in my mind. Like, go ahead, sit in there. Don't get involved in the conversation. Don't get too deep into it, but definitely be in the room. Comics and films aren't very comparable in that aspect, not with how vast film. Well, for sure, but at the same time, like you have to, like that's what we have to compare it to, right? Like this is what we're working on, this is what we're seeing, so that's why we're comparing those two things. Last question I have tonight, before I go watch the Golden Knights game. What do you like? What storyline do you want to see where it's mainly Spider-Man centric and very little focused on Peter? Like what storyline from the comics or even just like a idea of,
I mean,
you know?
I would like to see the black costume Spider-Man before he becomes the Venom.
Okay.
That would be my best, especially with Black Cat,
Where he's kind
because
of pushing everyone away.
yeah, but she's
Yeah.
getting closer to him because she sees what's going on with him and understands. Oh, he could be swayed to the dark side.
Yeah, her demons
And
match his demons, you know.
yes, exactly. Like it makes him more appealing to her.
Yeah.
So I would love to see like a black costume Spider-Man. That maybe this is how he'll find Venom. I don't know. But something with at least him wearing a black costume Spider-Man, going down that darker path, being directed by Sam Raimi, I think will be appropriate for this. And let Sam Raimi flow the way he needed to flow. Look, Sam, I forgive you because we got Bully Maguire out of the whole thing and we would have never had it. So shout out to you about that. Like, that's what I forgive. I may break the record soon. I just may watch Spider-Man 3. I haven't watched it since the very first movie came out, the very first day. It was in 2007, I believe, and I haven't watched it since.
Yeah.
That's how, like, no, you don't understand. Like, I have friends that were with me, and they know I'm a Spider-Man fanatic. And they said that when they were asking me, what did I think, that I wasn't even listening to them as we're walking out. Because they said I looked like I was in complete shock of what I just saw. You took that character, you took Venom,
Yeah.
and you destroyed him. You wasn't ready to handle that kind of power yet. I understand it. wasn't ready. But Jesus Christ, you just took the best character you knew to them. So please, Sam Raimi, if you're gonna do this again, I understand. Just flow, go what does natural, what works natural for you. Black House of Spider-Man, Black Cat, hooking up with her, no MJ, bye MJ. They made MJ ugly in the game. We don't need her anymore. We need beautiful, hot Felicia. That's what we need, period. You know, that's my bad girl. Like, I'm sorry, Peter. I don't know how you keep picking this girl. You should have been Felicia from day one. That's my opinion.
Agree or disagree with this opinion right here? Spider-Man 3 is greater than Venom 1 and 2.
Spider-Man 3?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
No, because let me tell you something. That Spider-Man 3 is horrible. You can't even compare. At least the Venom looks decent. Venom 1 and Venom 2 looks decent. Spider-Man 3 looks like, it just looks like spaghetti. What spaghetti? I hate it.
And Venom 1 is
it.
rewatchable.
Yes.
Venom 2 might not be as rewatchable. I think I've rewatched it once.
I mean, I'll be honest.
But Venom 1 I've seen a couple times now.
I did like Venom Let There Be Carnage to the point that I'll say this much. For the movie, what it was given, the timeline it was given, and how they represented everything, how everything was presented, I think they couldn't have done any better than what they were given there. I did think that Woody Harrelson was a good pick for Carnage, but there just wasn't enough time. You understand? Like, it was like watching Maximum Carnage series compressed into a 2-hour movie. That's how I felt. I just felt like it was completely, you know, not enough time to do this. Like, you needed to do this kind of movie, like, as a multi-part series. I would have done it more of a show, like a Netflix show.
Yeah, I completely disagree with this. Amazon, the black suit looked good, but Venom himself looked horrible. And Topher Grace was the wrong person for this, 100%.
Yes. Oh my God, like, tell me about it. I was saying back then, they have this wrestler, Brock Lesnar. I said, put Brock as any Brock. His name is Brock. He looked like Brock. He looked like the goddamn comic. I'm like, look, this is the comic. This is him. I'm going to make a video about that one day. Why Brock Lesnar should have played Eddie Brock. I'm telling you, Eddie Brock Lesnar. It was like all there. This, like, you had the actors to do it. You had the, like, they picked that dude from that 70s, that geek from that 70s show. Like, the hell? Like, why? Why? I was like, why did he pick this kid? What? He has no build. He was a skinny nothing. Like, come on, man.
But Tobey's Spider-Man wasn't ultimate. Tobey's Spider-Man was Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Like, that comic book series reminded me of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Like, if you're gonna do more of that grounded and the organic webbing and all that, like, Ultimate was very, in my mind, it was exactly what the cartoon Ultimate was. And Venom was badass in that. But
I love Venom in that.
Like, I'm not seeing it. But definitely, organic webbing.
Yeah.
So on that note, I need to go watch this hockey game. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll continue to talk about this because it's just an absolute, it's a fun story to unravel with everything going on. Spider-Man, Deadpool, Venom, all that stuff going on. Kraven's going to flop. Like, we all know that.
Oh my God, Kraven! Who's gonna watch Kraven? That's my question.
I'm not.
Like, I didn't watch Madam Web. I could have had Madam Web for free, and I still refuse to watch it. I just want to say real quick before we go. I just want to make an update real quick. Books come along great. Finished the first 11 panels, and I'm gonna be working on it right now when we get off. So that's all. I'm gonna have more updates coming soon. Thank you all.
Awesome. Have a great night, everyone. Pleasure to have everyone in the chat, and I'll see you guys next week.
Yes, all peace and love.